Yeah. Welcome to the
Yes,
Basement
sir.
Sports Network Dolphins pregame show, where we're going to talk today about the Dolphins versus the New England Patriots. Um, yeah, this you see, it's only two people here, so I'm here with my guy 416 J 416. How you doing today, my boy?
I'm chilling, man. Chilling, man. Listen, it fucking sucks. And listen, you're not supposed to swear at the beginning of videos, whatever. It sucks to be a Dolphins fan right now. But we're here. We're riding out. And honestly, a lot of fans have given up when we still have a chance to make the playoffs. Now, I'm pretty much done with this season, which is crazy to say after starting 8-3. But you know what? We still got a chance to make the playoffs and see what we can do from there. And if you get hot, anything can happen. So I do want to kill myself, but we're still riding with the Dolphins.
Well, they have hotlines for stuff like that, so make sure you check out one of those if that's actually how you feeling. But yeah, the Dolphins are going to try and secure a playoff spot this weekend without the services of Tua Tagovailoa, who's entered concussion protocol. There was some signs that he may be able to make it out, but I don't think that's going to be the thing. So the Dolphins are prepared for that by planning on starting Teddy Bridgewater. So before we get to looking forward, let's look back a little bit. We did a post-game show about the game versus Green Bay, but just to recap for some of the people who didn't see that, the Dolphins dropped the game versus Green Bay. Tua in the second half did not look as good as he did in the first half. Some people are attributing that to the concussion. Others are attributing that to kind of like a month-long trend of the way that he's been playing. Just where do you stand on that conversation? Do you attribute that second half play to kind of like the concussion symptoms that weren't kind of seen, or like just kind of a trend of how he's been playing over the course of the month?
For me, it's a little bit of both because if you're playing and you're out there, I don't want it. Like if you're playing, like you're available, like you're good enough to play. So I don't want to like discount that, but I also don't want to underplay like a concussion if he was playing with one, if that hit was when he suffered it. To me, like I said, I hate to play both sides. It is a little bit of both. Listen, he played like shit and it was just terrible to watch. And there was clearly something that changed after the half, but like there's still a couple plays after that play where he still threw the ball well. So for me, it was a little bit of both. But I will say, if you're going to say the concussion didn't play any part in it, I would say you're dumb for that too. For me, here's where I stand on kind of the whole thing, and it's tough for me because I would rather Tua not have suffered a concussion and he just played like shit, which a lot of people won't expect out of me because like I'm a Tua guy, like at least from people that follow me on Twitter and all that type of stuff. Like I'm a Tua guy, so you're probably thinking you probably not want to have a concussion, but you want there to be a reason for him playing so bad in that second half. At least for me, I would have rather that he played like shit and we just accept it and move on. And at least he has a chance to earn it back in this New England Patriots game, the Jets game, and winning a playoff game. Like he can winning a playoff game, like he can win the fan base back and the whole team back if he does that. The issue for me now is even though that the concussion played a part in how bad he played, people won't change their mind about how he played. They're not going to go back and change their opinion on what they already said. And number two, he has no opportunity to earn it back now. Like there, and the injury is even worse. Like to me, I would have rather play like shit. We accept it. We move on. People hate him, whatever. But at least he has a chance to rebound against his New England Patriots team. But now he doesn't even have that opportunity. Now he has to sit on the sidelines for maybe the rest of the year, and then we'll see what goes on. For me personally, too. By the way, people are saying he's going to retire, all that type of stuff. He's had so many opportunities to retire. He's a football player. He clearly loves the game. To me, whenever he's cleared, maybe there'll be a little bit extra precautionary. But I do think if we do make the wild card round, that first round of the playoffs, by winning this game and the Jets losing, I would imagine that he would come back to play. We'll see what happens though, because man, there's a couple things that need to happen, and then we'll see what happens from there. But it will be tough with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, so this has been an enigmatic season for Tua in terms of like, so he's had to deal with the concussion thing. Like it was already a big season for him coming
Yeah.
in terms of what he had to prove. Was he a franchise quarterback? And he showed signs of that. But then the injury thing, a reoccurring concern with him, has kind of followed him again into this season. And for some, it may not have been his play on the field, but that very thing right there has
Yep.
kind of swung them off of the bandwagon. Others, it's kind of been like the last four games have been kind of,
The catalyst.
yeah, they've been kind of an amplifying voice for
Yep.
those who didn't believe Tua was a franchise quarterback anyway. So it's tough for him to have to deal with this whole injury thing again. It's also tough considering what was riding on this season for the Dolphins in general. But yeah, let's move forward. Like you said, you got Teddy Bridgewater taking the mantle against the New England Patriots. They're not good. Like the Patriots are not good. But it's also like how much can you expect from the Dolphins in this game versus a team that's not good? So I'll start with your individual expectations. Like, what are you expecting from this game?
From this game, I want them to be physical. I want to see what the other guys have because it is a 22 people on the field, offense and defense. It's not just the quarterback, even though it's the most important position. So I'd love to see some fight. In terms of like game planning, game scheme and stuff, I want to see Mike McDaniel go to the run like heavy and a lot. Jeff Wilson should be good to go. You'll have Raheem Mostert. So I'm really hoping that you'll lean on the run a lot. Like I'm expecting 30 to 40 rushes maybe in this game, which I know sounds like crazy, but I would expect 15 for almost both of those guys with Teddy at the back. Now, listen, you still have to get the ball into the hand of your playmakers with Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. But I'm expecting some fight, and I'm expecting you to go to the run game, at least on the offensive side of the ball, because before the year, I thought we were getting a great backup in terms of Teddy Bridgewater and what he did in his previous year. I thought we were going to have one of the best backups in the league. But then, honestly, if you were to ask me just before this game or just before Tua got hurt who I thought the backup was, I'd say Skylar Thompson over Teddy Bridgewater, which I'm not even like a huge Skylar Thompson guy. I like what he did in preseason, but Teddy Bridgewater did not show me enough. And in the snaps that he did play, at least in preseason, and the couple snaps that he got in, yes, he is, and in the snaps that he got during the regular season games, he just didn't seem passionate. I know that sounds crazy, but he just didn't seem into the game. You know, he didn't seem like there was no effort, or not no effort. I don't want to put that on him, but it just seemed like there was a lack of like intent with the way he was playing. And it was just lackadaisical and stuff like that. So to me, I want to see some intent from Teddy Bridgewater, especially because this is your chance to go prove that you are still like quarterback who can play in the NFL, be a solidified backup, and be a guy who teams can go to if you want another contract next season that could be as large as this one, because we're paying him $10 million. And I think honestly, in terms of cap it this year, he's like top 6 on this entire team.
Yeah.
So to me, I want to see a lot of Teddy Bridgewater and what he can do, because this, again, it's his last chance to kind of prove he can stay in the NFL, but it hasn't really been that way. And we'll see what he can do. I think with a full week of practice, it might be a little bit better than what we've seen in the past. And yeah, man, it's just tough. I want to see some fight. That's the big thing. I want to see some effort. Like, I don't want to see Tua go down and then you just lose everything. Like, that shouldn't be the case. And honestly, with the players that you have on this team, that should not happen.
So I think it's weird with Teddy Bridgewater because, you know, he had the game where he got a concussion. And it wasn't like, really like a concussion. He also, that first game that he got in, he was not expecting to play. So like there's a general like lack of preparation, which is something that you shouldn't say about a quarterback, but I guess he just wasn't as prepared to play.
Wasn't prepared with the ones, yeah.
Right. So now this week, like you said, with a full week of practice, that shouldn't be the case there. I don't know if I'm expecting them to run the ball more, like, because I still believe Teddy's a capable backup quarterback. I like you agreed that Teddy was in my eyes, he was one of the best backup signings that the Dolphins had in a while. And so to have him as kind of an insurance policy, in my mind, was really good. And I think it still could be the case. Like, I think he can manage the game well enough in order to not let it get out of control and allow the players around him to do the work in order to get the Dolphins this dub. What players in particular are you kind of looking for him to lean on most? I know you said you want to see them like a heavy dosage of the run. And is that because Jeff Wilson's back, so they have the combo of him and Raheem Mostert, or it's just like you think that should be the game plan coming into the game?
For me, it's a combination of things because, one, I think the Patriots personnel allows you to run on them. I don't think they're a great run defense in terms of what they have in the interior of the defensive line. Their linebackers are up and coming, but I don't think they're anything crazy. So I think that, one, the Patriots personnel allows you to run. The fact that you don't have Tua allows you to run. And then the fact that, honestly, the run has been working a lot as this offensive line is growing into this scheme. Apparently, it was a very difficult scheme. We heard Tyreek say it in the offseason how this is one of his most difficult schemes to learn and practice in the offseason in terms of the playbook. So the offensive line, this is a new scheme for them. The wide zone is not something that's incredibly common in the NFL, at least. So I know it has been a massive learning curve for them, especially with guys rotating in and out. Austin Jackson was supposed to be the starting right tackle. Liam Eichenberg was supposed to be the starting left guard, and we've had guys rotate in and out. So on the offensive line, it's important to have chemistry and stuff like that. So I know it's tough for them. But as the season has progressed, it's been great. As the season's progressed, the offensive line's got better and better, at least in terms of the run blocking. And I remember in the Buffalo game, a lot of us were getting mad because we were averaging 7.5 yards per carry and we stopped running on 3rd and 1. So I think it's just the combination of the Patriots personnel, the fact that Tua is out, and the fact that you have the ability to run the ball. That's why I think we should do that. It also keeps the ball out of the Patriots offense, which I know isn't scary, but with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm, I don't know how many points we're going to put up. Like we're putting up 20 with Tua, and I would say that Teddy is worse than Tua. So it's going to be tough in terms of what you want to do. Obviously, in terms of Teddy and the players he's looking at, you want to get the ball to Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. That does not change at all. If you can just get them the ball in their hands, they have they're just so talented. They can do whatever they want to after the catch. We've seen what Jaylen Waddle has done recently. Like his acceleration and burst has been it's been crazy. Like everyone expected it out of college, and it's like we didn't see it, but it's been ridiculous. The acceleration that he's shown. What's up, Cap?
But yeah, like I mean, the only thing with Jaylen Waddle is making sure that he doesn't leave his feet on every catch, like because that's an annoying habit.
Or
that
drop the ball. Yeah,
yeah. Those two things really should be taken care of. What's it, Royal J? Teddy time.
Yes,
Hey,
Cap.
I'm with it, bro. Like I'm a big Teddy guy. I like Teddy Bridgewater as a quarterback.
Just manage the game.
Smart. Yeah, just manage the game, and that's why like Moonbet says the 17-14 type win. I believe that's achievable for the Dolphins, but that heavily depends on the defense. Like this defense has been not great for a large portion of this season. And they've had their kind of faults, but they are going against Matt Patricia called offense. So that shit.
Do you ever think you would have said that in your lifetime, bro? A Matt Patricia led offense, bro.
No,
that's
bro.
Crazy.
No, it's just a wild concept to think of that's the person charged with they say Cap say we can still get the 5th seed. Sure. But I think right now, I think right now let's
focus on winning this game.
Yeah, like win this game, hope that the Jets lose, and then you guys can secure a playoff spot, and then you can choose whether or not you want to play for seeding next week, or like get to some rhythm back after missing this game. But those are the kind of issues that I foresee. Are you with that? Like you with the win them both, or you just kind of like win, get in, rest starters?
To me, what's good, Kai, Captain Canada? Yes, sir. To me, this is such a must win, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that Tua is not going to play in the Jets game. If he does, I think it's very winnable, but chances are he doesn't. And with Teddy against that Jets defense, which I hate like giving them credit, but their defense is incredible. Like, to be honest with you, DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner have been incredible. Their defensive line has been awesome. Quinnen Williams is a dog. Like that defense is incredible, led by Robert Saleh.
That Jets game is no gimme, whether Tua plays or not. Like it's not a gimme.
I just think we have a way better chance with Tua, and I think that I would say that we would be favorited in that game if Tua played. The thing is with Teddy, I think we'd be severe underdogs. So for me, it's like this is a must win because if we can clinch, I think honestly, even though I love to get Tua back in rhythm, I think that allows you to sit him. If we clinch, that allows you to sit him, and then he can come back for the playoff game. So that's what I'm thinking, at least in my mindset, is that go in, go hard, let's win this game. Hopefully the Jets lose, and if we clinch, I think that's the perfect scenario to let Tua rest because you're still in the playoffs and let him come back for the wild card round. Because I agree with you somewhat in terms of if he's clear, like let him play, let him get back in rhythm before the playoff game because that's really important. But I just don't think that's going to happen. And whether it's PR related or whatever, which sucks I have to say because it's a football team. This is people over encapsulate what the NFL is. Dude, it's a football league. It's just the biggest one in the world. So you're going to do what you can to win. It really does piss me off, especially with people saying he should retire, all that type of stuff. Listen, if he wants to retire, go for it. But don't put that on him. You know what I mean? Like, he's a football player like everyone else. Like, no one was telling other positional players to retire and all that type of stuff. It's like, anyways, that's just a whole other tangent. But
I get it, though. Like, but I mean, to their credit, like, to their point, just to play devil advocate here a little bit, players like Luke Kuechly did retire because of shit like that. Yeah. So you want to make
Andrew
sure.
Luck, same thing.
Yeah, like it's like players are much more conscious of kind of their health these days, and they're much more willing to retire because of it. I agree that he is a football player, and it should be his choice. And I don't think anybody should kind of force the decision to retire on him. Let that be his choice. Let him make that. And like, as long as he's playing football, that's what we're going to talk about here. Like, we're going to talk about him being a football player, and let's do that. But I do want to circle back around to what you're talking about, or what we were talking about in terms of like making sure that we get this, or making sure that the Dolphins, look at me, I'm saying we now, guys. I'm almost a Dolphins fan, but making sure that the Dolphins get this win. Because that does, to your credit, to your point, gives them a little bit of insurance going into next week, like the primary sponsor of the Basement Sports Network, Simple Health Advisors. Ladies and gentlemen, insurance does not need to be complicated. Make sure you email them or give them a call today and tell them that the Basement sent you. Email our guy James Poe at jpoe@simplehealthadvisors.com, or give them a call at 321-345-7738. We appreciate James Poe and the people over at Simple Health Advisors. Somebody said Freudian slip. But yeah, absolutely. James Poe is fire, Kachi Chisholm. But no, so I know you don't have long here. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. So let's start moving into some of the next topics. Yeah, I was actually going there. I want to know kind of like we started to talk about the defense a little bit, but didn't really get into it. What are you expecting from the defense against the Patriots?
So for me, and this is going to sound, it's such a conundrum on defense, but for me, I need Boyer to stop blitzing, but that seems like that's all he can do. I've asked this question on so many different platforms. What does Josh Boyer do other than putting more bodies on the line of scrimmage? Like, what other adjustment does he make? Because I don't know what it is. So for me, especially, it's weird because last game and in the Buffalo game, you would say, damn, our pass rush wasn't getting there because it's so inconsistent. Sometimes it's really, really good, but sometimes it's not getting there at all. And you have Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers, two of the best quarterbacks in the league, at least over the course of the last 3 years, who play really well, and you can't not have pressure on them. But for me, it's like with Jaylen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and Christian Wilkins, you should be able to get pressure with 4 guys on the defensive line. So to me, you do have the ability to rush 4 and drop 7 back. Now, the issue is we don't want to do that at all, which is so funny. We continue to blitz the hell out of teams. Now, for me, it might work against the Patriots team because this Mac Jones isn't that good. This offense is not great. But it's just really tough for me in terms of watching Josh Boyer just do the same thing over and over again and just get cooked on short routes because you're rushing 5 or 6, then you're dropping Xavien Howard and all the other corners into soft coverage, 12 yards of space. Like, that's easy to pick apart. So there's so many different things that you can do. For me, against this Patriots offense, you want to shut down the run. That's the first thing you want to do. And I think that's pretty easy. We've been one of the best run defenses in the NFL, at least in terms of running backs. It's like 3.8 yards per carry or something like that. Quarterbacks is a whole other story because Josh Allen, Justin Fields, and Lamar have all rushed all over us. But in terms of the rush defense, I think that's taken care of. And for me, the Patriots receivers are nothing crazy. They're one of the worst cores in the league. Like, no disrespect, but listen, Kendrick Bourne is the guy going off for you. We should be able to play man on man. So I would love to see us go back to what we've done in the past 2 years, where you run press man.
I got a question. How much of that do you attribute to Josh Boyer being fucking terrible and or like versus him not having his entire assortments? Yeah. I see you back there, my boy. I'm coming to get you. But yeah, how much do you attribute to him not having his full assortment of players?
So for me, in terms of like, it's hard to be critical, right? You don't have Byron Jones, you don't have Brandon Jones, you don't have Nick Needham, you don't have Joe Williams. You brought in Mackenzie Alexander, he got injured right away. You're starting Kaderko, who's been a revelation at the cornerback position, which has been huge as a rookie.
But he's also gotten picked on.
He's also gotten picked on. Yeah. But then you're also starting like Justin Bethel. You're putting Noah Benogany one-on-one with Stephon Diggs. So you're kind of at a loss in terms of what you want to do. So I get what people are saying. So at the start, I would be with you. I'd be like, damn, it's the injuries and stuff. For me, the issue is when you go back and watch the games, especially if you're looking at the All-22 at the last 2 games, it's not the personnel. And people, this is just brings you to our topic in terms of the defense. People are shitting on X, as they should. It's been a huge down year. But they're misutilizing this guy like crazy. He's a press man corner, and you're dropping back into zone, and you're dropping back to soft coverage. That's not what he does. He's a slow cornerback, and we've heard the quote him say. He literally said that he makes receivers play at his speed. Like, that's what he does. He presses them at the line. He gets physical with them because he's not that quick. So, to me, you're misutilizing X, which is your best player on defense before the year. And that's a big cause of why this defense has struggled because usually we can blitz and play press man. Now we're playing soft coverage. So quarterbacks know they can just pass short and then they're going to get yards after the catch because we don't be tackling. That's not our thing. So to me, it's just a tough one. But Josh Boyer, getting back to my point is the scheme has been the issue now. Now it's not even the players. Yes, I'm from Toronto. Let's get it.
That's what y'all call it up there?
Yeah, T-Dot? We don't call it T-Dot. That's like a 2012 type beat.
I was about to say, Drake got y'all in shambles up there in Canada, boy. What the fuck? Y'all not no hood up there. T-Dot. I'm sorry that I got to cut you off real quick. I do want to get to your predictions because I want to maintain that you got to get out of here. And then on top of that, we're not going to end the show because we got my guy JMV in the background.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just going to swap them guys out. And then I'm going to have a conversation. Yeah, I'm gonna have a conversation with JMV because I want to give him time to get his shit off for the next 20 minutes or so. So I want your predictions on the game. Dolphins win, Dolphins lose. How does it get done?
All right, listen. If we ever have a puncher's chance to win, I'll never pick against the Dolphins. I think the only game this year that I picked against the Dolphins, like before the year when I did my schedule prediction, was the Buffalo Bills game 2 weeks ago. Just because for me, 3 road games in a row, and the last one's Buffalo. That's just a scheduled L, at least in my mind. Obviously, when you go in and watch the game, probably should have won, but that's neither here nor there. So for me, I am going to pick the Dolphins to win. I'm going to go 14-13, a really ugly score. But to me, that's what I think is what's going to happen. I don't think our offense will be able to put up too much offense. Maybe I should put a field goal for us too there because I don't know if Teddy's going to be able to drive down. But I just want to win. So 14-13, 17-13, something like that. The defense is going to have to step up big, and they should be able to against this Patriots offense.
Yeah. So after shitting on Josh Boyer, you're now going to rely on him.
Dude, that's what we do. That's what we do, bro. That's what we do. We shit on Josh Boyer. He has a good game, and yeah.
Yeah, you gotta rely on him to get you guys in the playoffs. 416. Appreciate you for popping on,
Appreciate
brother.
You, dog.
You go ahead and have a great rest of your day. And let me get my man JMV in here. So, JMV
was
late
good
as fuck.
Yeah, but, man, hey, traffic in Miami is a bitch.
But listen, my bro, at least you're not in Canada. And on top of that, my boy, you gave me kind of like a new format to do this shit, bro. Kind of round robin here. So let's have a conversation similar to the one me and 416 just had. Even though he's still sitting in the background, he should probably just leave the studio. But yeah. So want to take a look back with you a little bit too. We did that. I did that with JMV, and then we look back. So we look back to the Green Bay game. I know we had the post game show, but I wanted to ask you: do you put last game more so like that second half on Tua's concussion, or do you kind of attribute it to the trend of bad games that he's had over the last month or so?
No, I think that's more a topic of the concussion more than anything. I think in my group chat, when Tua went down with that hit, I said that hit worried me because his head bounced right off the floor. But the man got up. He got up, went back in the huddle. I was like, okay, I guess he's fine. Whatever, it is what it is. And shortly after that, bro, shit went downhill. It went from Tua being like playing like an all-pro quarterback the first half. Man had almost 250 on like 9 completions in that first half. I know.
Granted, a lot of that with that Jaylen Waddle.
I was about to say that. Granted, like 80 yards were from Waddle. He did have the 57-yard pass to Tyreek Hill, but he was making good decisions. The ball was accurate. And then all of a sudden, he overthrows Tyreek Hill behind him as well. And then it's a pick to Jair Alexander. And then like it was just consecutive string of missing receivers, things that he doesn't typically do. Mostly overthrown. But no, I know the 49ers game and the Chargers game are there.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. I'm just making sure that we keep this in contact, JMV.
Yeah, no. I know those are there, and I a lot of that is on Tua. I also didn't like the scheme that we were running for those teams, but I thought the play calling against Green Bay was very good. Tua just wasn't executing. But I'm not gonna lie to you if I tell you I'm not worried about the concussions, or if I tell you I'm not worried about having to pay Tua $45 million a year, or whatever the number is going to be, to be our franchise quarterback moving forward. And there's always something. And I know concussions aren't injuries, and I know like the Tua stands, and me myself, I'm probably put in that group of Tua stands.
Yeah,
I'm probably.
I'll put you. You're securely there. I'll put you up there.
Yeah, but. I believe in Tua, and I have no doubts about him being the franchise quarterback of this team. Not saying he's better than Justin Herbert. I don't believe that. I'm not saying he's better than Joe Burrow. I don't believe that. But I do believe he is a franchise quarterback, and he's good enough to win with. But the concussions worry me. The string of injuries, it's always something new, whether it be the hip coming in, and then you had the broken finger, and then the broken ribs, and 3 concussions this year.
That's the trend though, JMV. It's kind of like when he's on top of his game, yes, he looks exactly like a franchise quarterback. But one of the things that can cost you is signing big money deals to a quarterback that is consistently injured. And it's not just like one injury, it's a bunch of different things. You just went off the list, 3-4 different things that he's going through, and now you add the concussions into it. Doesn't that kind of give credence to some of the people who are like, all right, like I'm off now, not because of his play, but because of the injury history. Like, it's starting to scare me.
No, it's a concern. It's a concern, and it's my only concern. And especially when you can't Bro, I want to go back like 15 years. When was the last time the Dolphins actually had a good offensive line, like a legit top 10 offensive line in the NFL? I think 2016 was the last time you can say the Dolphins had a good offensive line, not top 10, just a good, consistent offensive line with all the old heads we had that year and Jay Ajayi going crazy in the backfield. But that was the last time in like the last 15 years we can say that they had a good offensive line. If you cannot put good product in front of the quarterback to protect them, we don't have any tight ends capable except Durham Smythe of blocking, bro, a DB for God's sake. Mike Gesicki gets blown up by a DB. Like, I don't get it.
I don't consider him a real player at this point. He's just
yes, I
he's
agree.
just out there for decoration.
If you can't put good product on the field to protect your quarterback, and then this guy is fragile, he gets injured easy. Whatever the case, or it could just be bad luck. Whatever the certain person's belief is on Tua, it is what it is. He's constantly hurt, and it is a worry. But in terms of his on-field play, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I do, Cap. I know you were on the train. On the draft night, I do want to make sure that I make my stance on this clear as a kind of like a semi-objective observer of the Miami Dolphins. On draft night, I did not have a problem with the Dolphins taking Tua over Justin Herbert. I did it. Now hindsight is 2020. But yeah, what he is now, knowing what I know now, I would have taken Herbert. But on draft night, at the time of it, I did not have a problem with them taking Tua, even considering his injury history, because at one point in time he was the top quarterback of that class. And so I still see, like, at times now you can still see that there are shades of that in there. Like, there are elite moments from Tua, but there have also been kind of like the downing moments, which is it's something that I don't want to harp on because he's not playing this week. But like that downward trend kind of let me like, do you guys even trust Tua to get you into the playoffs at this point? Like, but now you have to go ahead.
I do trust Tua to get us to the playoffs. Whether it be, this year, I don't think he plays this year. I don't think he plays
for the rest of the season.
I don't think he plays this week, and I don't think he plays next week. So it's gonna have to be Teddy Bridgewater.
No, he's absolutely not playing this week. So now that you've kind of led us to that, let's get to this game. So you guys are taking on the Patriots, and Teddy Bridgewater is starting. So Teddy Bridgewater is who you're going into the game with. And me and JMV were having this conversation that it's like, if that scenario that you're talking about plays out where Tua's not playing this week or next week, then I think this week is probably the golden opportunity for you guys to try and clinch your playoff spot. Y'all beat the Jets and then y'all beat New England and have the Jets lose, because that game against the Jets is no gimme. Like, it's not an easy game.
I agree.
So yeah, where are you? Like, do you believe? How confident are you in Teddy's ability to kind of win this game? Because the Patriots aren't good.
I am so confident in Teddy Bridgewater. I was contemplating watching Chelsea play and not watching the Miami Dolphins. That is where my level of confidence is at in this game. But no, I agree with you. This is a must win. That Jets defense is no joke. They have some playmakers back there. And when they're successfully running the ball, Mike White is probably going to be the starter that week against our secondary.
Right.
He's got some good receivers back there. That game is scary. That's not a game I want to go into. That it has to be a must win with our backup quarterback, even if it is at home. At one point we were 8-3. We were not just fighting for the playoffs. We were fighting for the division. You were fighting for the first seed in the AFC. Like, this has been a shit show. It's gone downhill very quick. Games that have all been there, and you can throw the blame on certain people, Mike McDaniel, Tua especially. The defense has had moments where we needed to stop and they don't get it. But that also goes back to the offense. Like, you had times, for example, that Bills game, a lot of people want to say, oh, the defense could have gotten a stop and given Tua a chance to win that game. Tua had a chance to clinch the game. The Dolphins offense had a chance to clinch the game. And
they passed the ball on. They passed the ball on third down.
And they continue to pass the ball on third down. So, like, as much as I want to harp on the defense, the offense hasn't been complimentary to the defense for the majority of the year. Except for that 5-game stretch where we played terrible teams. And the special teams is not even a fucking unit at this point. That's a disaster.
So that's kind of what I want to ask you. Just kind of like, as somebody who is generally like on the more optimistic side of kind of what the Dolphins are. Like even you recognize that the Dolphins kind of got fat off of a soft schedule, and now it seemed like we talked about this at the beginning of the year. This stretch of games, when this stretch of games came, like this would let us know who the Dolphins are. And so far, the Dolphins have lost every one of those games. So where are you now? Like as somebody who is a known tool believer, somebody who's been generally high on this team, gave them great odds to make the playoffs this year. Just the way the season is unfolded, kind of where are you now on this team?
Well, I think when we did our preseason predictions, I had 11-6. I had Tua missing a few games. I didn't expect the list of injuries to be as absurd as it is right now. I didn't expect Byron Jones to not play a fucking game the entire year.
Leader,
captain, bro. One game. I didn't expect Brandon Jones to have season-ending injury, and Nick Needham as well, and the list goes on and on and on.
And Ogba.
Ogba, he's just another guy, but yeah, I mean,
but he's an important guy to your defense.
He really hasn't. He does nothing on the pass rush. The run defense has still been well. So, I mean, in terms of what really hurt us, Byron Jones really hurt us. Brandon Jones hurt. Nick Needham hurt. The list goes on and on. I didn't expect the list to be this long, and it is concerning. What can I say?
It's forced you guys to play guys like Cater Kohu and Crossing and
Keon Crossing.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's horrible, bro. Like Cater, fine for an undrafted rookie, bro. I think you guys found something there, but he is not meant to be a starting cornerback in the NFL. Like as you've seen of late, teams are starting to pick on his little ass. But it's like he's serviceable, and so he was good for a couple of weeks. But I think not having Byron Jones, to your point, is humongous. Brandon Jones, I don't know, bro. He's like I call him a defensive end that plays corner, bro. All he does is blitz. So that's all I like. But he's good at it.
He has improved in pass coverage, but he's still not. For being
he had a game this year where he was good. Like he had like 2 pass breakups.
Starting strong safety. I mean, he's getting to like the average part as a pass coverage safety, but. And he's young, so it is a positive. But he does hurt, and that's a package that we used to have that we can no longer do because we have nobody that can, take his role. In terms of blitzing the quarterback, he's very good at it. And we haven't blitzed the safety ever since this man went down.
But doesn't that say something about I know it says something about Josh Boyer because that was kind of like you can't get any pressure. Like I want to give Jaylen Phillips his credit because he has come on later on in the season. Like he has been doing more, but I think you keep saying it about the old Dolphins adage where they like get really close to the quarterback but never get the quarterback. Like you're always right there, but you never get there. Like, but with Brandon Jones, like it brought something else. I don't know, bro. You blame this more on Boyer's play calling, or you blame more on injury?
No, play calling for sure. I mean, the injury. I would be a dick to not say the injuries have hurt. Like the players that you have on the field, like the product you put on the field is important. But when you're 3rd down and 17 against the Chargers and you decide to play fucking prevent defense, bro, I'm sorry. That's not on the personnel. Like, that's not on the players you have. You had fucking 8 people in the backfield in the end zone, and the middle was wide open on a 3rd and 17, and then all of a sudden they get a first down. Like, that's Josh Boyer being Josh Boyer more than anything else on the field. I don't give a fuck if I had 11 Keon Crossings on the field. There was no reason for them to get 17 yards on 3rd and 17. It is what it is. But Josh Boyer's got to go. That man's got to go.
Bro, if you had 11 Keon Crossings on the field, the Dolphins would give up 73 points a game easily. But like my guy Anthony said,
I promise you, they wouldn't give up a 3rd and 17. They can give up as many points as you want.
At least you'll be able to scheme your way to not giving up 17 yards on 3rd down. I want you guys to listen to my guy Ed Donato. If you're in here, make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe to the Basement Sports Network. We on our road to 2,000, man. We almost there. We got like 1,800 subscribers. So we're Baby Network, still trying to grow. Not quite 6 months old yet, but we're getting there. So follow us for more Dolphins content. Follow us for some Heat content too. But right now we talk about Miami. So let's the Dolphins. So let's keep that train going. So what I want to ask you, like, what is Miami's advantage on Sunday versus New England?
Shit. What's our bro? Our advantage is that the New England Patriots play callers, not Patriots. That is our advantage. There is nothing else to this game. I mean, Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. Teddy Bridgewater is the one back there throwing the football. So I don't even know if Teron Armstead's going to play. I think he was limited in practice. I hope he does play. I don't even know if Liam Eichenberg is going to actually play this week, which is a disaster on his own.
The fact that you have to rely on Liam Eichenberg is a fucking disaster.
I rely on him not playing to make me happy. Him on the field, that's terrible product.
Hey, bro, he learned from the great Jesse Davis.
Austin Jackson did too.
Man, that is their sensei. Y'all got to get every remnant of Jesse Davis out of y'all organization, bro.
Bro,
every offensive lineman that was there during his tenure,
the first thing this team has to do this offseason, and the fact that I'm talking about the offseason is wild, with 2 games left to play and like a chance at clinching the playoffs this week. But the very first thing you got to do this offseason, man, that offensive line needs help. If Tua is your quarterback, we all know Tua's the quarterback. He's not going anywhere. I'm sorry, Kendall. I'm sorry, Juan. I'm sorry, everybody else in the basement. He's not going anywhere. He will be the quarterback next year. Hopefully, he has another leap of more so of consistency more than anything, because he made the leap that we all wanted. Like we saw it on the field.
Did he make a leap, JMV, bro? Because like I agree with people that in December, like, okay, so there are multiple seasons.
Yeah, no. I know
this.
The December things are concerning, but I'm saying
the December thing is real too, though. We can't ignore it.
No, I agree. And I mean, mind you, he's had good games in the past in December, but it's more so the important games in December. It's not about like December in general. He's had good games in December. It's more so the important games. Buffalo Bills, the New England Patriots game last year in December. He played like shit, and we won. The Tennessee Titans this year. You had the Chargers and the 49ers, and the list goes on and on. The Bills again. Well, he actually played decently well in the Bills game, but the rest of them, the list goes on and on. Yes, I agree. The December thing is a concern, but when you talk about Tua in year 2 to Tua in year 3, there's been significant leaps across the board.
I agree that there has been growth in this game.
More so, the thing you need to see in year 4 is consistency from him, especially to your credit, the big games, like the big games in December. Shit, in November and December and January, it doesn't matter. You got to win those big games. I can't see you go 0-6 or 0-5, whatever he is this year. We lost to Cincinnati.
So I do want, listen. I agree that I think maybe I more so agree with that kind of thinking in basketball, but in football, you customarily, like nowadays, you see these quarterbacks making leaps in year 2 and 3 to the point where it's like it's giving you more hope to build on. Tua has made a leap from where he was, but I don't think he's made that type of leap where you could just pencil him in as your starter. Like, he hasn't proven that he is absolutely the guy for the Miami Dolphins. I'm not saying that he's not a franchise quarterback. Maybe he's not this franchise's quarterback.
I think I've seen enough for me to give him the year 4. I mean, and when you talk about what there is, like, to potentially replace him with, there is nothing. Like, Lamar Jackson's not a real candidate at a replacement on this team. I don't see we have nothing to give Baltimore. What do we got? We just gave up 2 first. Well, we lost a first-round pick. We traded the other one for Bradley Chubb, who is Jalen Phillips 2.0, except Jalen Phillips is actually doing something. I'm not giving Jalen Waddle. I've seen all those hypothetical trades of would you give Jalen Waddle to get Lamar Jackson, bro? What the fuck is that? I'm not giving Jalen Waddle to get no Lamar Jackson. I personally wouldn't. To the people that would, the same problem he's had in Baltimore his whole life is this guy's wide receivers are a shit show in Baltimore, and I'm gonna give him a good wide receiver.
He's never had Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill's gonna be 30 by the time that man's a Miami Dolphin.
He's still gonna be fast. He's still gonna be fast.
I agree. But once you hit 30, wide receivers start going downwards.
I get that, but listen, bro, I think I don't want to get too much into the Lamar Jackson thing because we can actually have a whole different show about that kind of stuff. I do want to kind of circle back around. I love Lamar Jackson. That
Like,
boy from Pompano.
realistically, you got real. No, you know I love Lamar Jackson.
Realistically, I packed Jaylen Waddle's ass up immediately to go get Lamar Jackson.
Well, but I'm saying
1,000%. I would
got
ship his
Derek
ass straight
Carr.
over there.
Derek Carr is realistic.
I like Derek
Jimmy
Carr.
Garoppolo is realistic. I'm not taking
Derek Carr is better.
Yeah, yeah. Derek Carr's better, but I'm not taking any of those guys over Tua. Like, if you want to bring him in for competition and pay Derek Carr's contract, which I think is retarded in his own, but that's another thing. But
I think paying Tua would be outrageous.
You don't have to pay Tua. You can play his 4th year and you can pick up his 5th year contract.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like
he's got a whole other 2 years.
But you're doing that. That's like essentially kicking the can down the road. You and I started having JMV. I think this is a nice background into like you and my dynamic. Kind of like we do this often, not as often as we should, but we just argue most of the time. But no, I think like picking up Tua's option is like kicking the can down the road. Like you need to make a decision on Tua. Or whether or not, because this team is built to win now. And would you agree that kind of like, I won't say the biggest issue because the defense and health might be bigger issues, but the quarterback uncertainty is one of the top 3 issues on this team in terms of helping them compete, right?
His health is top 3.
Him himself.
His health.
You just talked about how he don't play good in big games. You don't know what.
But I think I trust Tua in year 4 with a more competent offensive line and whatever. But I don't want to give him excuses. It is what it is. Like there is concerns when it comes to Tua.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So like, if you have a team that's ready to win right now, and you can go next year, I think Derek Carr.
Win what? Win what?
Derek Carr
defense is dog shit. We got the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL. You ain't winning.
You guys, but you were 8-3 and beating your chest about being 8-3 with the same dog shit ass defense.
I agree, but the teams we were playing were dog shit.
And with Derek Carr, you guys would win 2 out of these 4 games that you have lost in a row.
I don't know. I just saw Derek Carr throw 3 interceptions last week too. And he wasn't concussed, by the way.
But Derek Carr is in a dog shit organization with a cheap ass owner who won't spend no money.
I've seen that man be dog shit his entire career when it matters. So if we're talking about quarterbacks that don't perform well in big games, Derek Carr is at the top of the list as well.
Man, listen. Hey, thank you, Cap. Lamar Jackson has a 10-5 record and is winning with backup wide receivers. You just said it yourself, bro. Like Lamar Jackson did this shit with
a dog, bro. There's
that's what I'm saying. Like, and so it's like I would already ship. Like for that, I would ship Jaylen Waddle's ass up out of here. Play Cedric Wilson. Like I don't care with that type. That's a 1-man offense. But you give him Tyreek Hill, and you guys have a legitimate shot. You're more dangerous with Lamar Jackson than you are with Jaylen Waddle and Tua.
I'll give him Tyreek Hill, and I'll keep Jaylen Waddle.
No! Tyreek Hill is the best skill position player that your franchise has probably ever seen.
I'm keeping the 23-year-old that I'm going to have for 7 years over the 30-year-old that's probably got 2 years left at his elite level.
Listen.
Personally. Hey, man, Jaylen Waddle's my favorite player. I'm not shipping this man's ass out for nothing.
I get it, bro. He's like your version of Bam, but I'm packing his ass up for Lamar Jackson. Let's get to some of these predictions so I can get ready for this Heat game. How do you see the Patriots game going? Like, give me your score prediction. Who wins, who loses? How does it happen?
I don't know yet about who wins and who loses, but I will tell you there will not be 1 touchdown in that game. Straight field goals. Straight field goals.
So the Jason Sanders performance?
Bro, fingers crossed. The man that we cannot rely on, another one of them that we cannot rely on, is going to have to win this game to get us into the playoffs or possibly get our ass whooped in the first round because we don't even know if Tua's going to play that game either. So, bro, I had a 16-13 game. That was my prediction. Probably the Dolphins. I'm hoping the Dolphins, for fuck's sake. But I don't think there's going to be a touchdown in that game.
Okay. Then you can't get to 16 without a touchdown.
I had a touchdown in that game, but I'm still there. Like Marcus Jones, I don't think is playing. So at least I'm not going to see the Patriots return a fucking 80-yard punt. So that's something. That is something.
JB, do you think the Dolphins make the playoffs?
No. No. Now, if I had Tua, I would have said yes. I don't think we make the playoffs with Teddy Bridgewater.
So how do you grade this season?
Fucking F+. Actually, put 2 more pluses in front of that.
Almost a D-, but not quite.
I was so depressed after that loss. I went straight to bed for 2 hours. Straight to bed.
On Christmas Day?
On Christmas Day, bro. I didn't get up till 6:30. I was devastated. That was a terrible loss. I saw a fucking quarterback play like I don't even know what in the first half, bro. I had Patrick Mahomes in the first half, and I had fucking Zach Wilson in the second half. It was terrible.
Yo, them 3 back-to-back, like, bro, I was in my mom's house going crazy. Like, that shit was legendary for me. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here because the boy does have a post-game show. Make sure y'all check us out after the Heat game tonight. But thank you guys in the comments, as always, for joining the show, making it much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to my guy 416J who had to slide, and the boy JMV for popping in late so we can keep this shit going. We pulled 45 minutes out of our ass, JMV. I think we did well.
Shout out to Jay.
Shout out to Jay. Shout out to the whole
in the first half, and then I got the second half.
You know what? That's crazy that you gave credit to the white man who came and played 1/2 a ball, and you gave credit to yourself for playing 1/2 a ball, and did not once mention the dog who sat here for the whole stream, bro. That's crazy how you go. You know what, bro?
Royal, you're the one that holds it down on both ends, the Heat side and the Dolphin side.
Come on, man.
There is no credit. Like, you're the team. Give credit to the role players.
PG1, man. I'm just a point guard. I'm Tua. You know what I mean? Throwing it to more capable guys and letting them do all the work for me. That's what he does. So, we'll check y'all out next time. Play the video, me.